Good evening, everyone. This is Rob Bell, and you're listening to and watching Getting the Record Straight. This is the Black Rock and Soul segment. Welcome, everyone. We are going to have a guest this evening, and I'm very excited because someone very special. Please click the like button and subscribe, please, and share it. Do all those good things. You help me out a great deal. Things are coming along pretty well. Again, you can get to me and get to my playlist, Black Rock and Soul playlist, at www.blackrocksoul.com. Always got some interesting music, funky music, music for your heart and soul. And of course, when you go there, you can also click a button to get here to see Getting the Record Straight. As I said, I have someone very special on the line. It's Miss Sumi Tonooka. I try to bring on people, if I can, who are very special in terms of Philadelphia. And Philadelphia just has some wonderful, great treasures. And, I am really humbled this evening because Sumi has agreed to come on. She is not only a Philadelphia treasure, but an international treasure, jazz composer and pianist. And just by way of background and some of her history briefly, because we don't have a whole hour to go into all her accomplishments, but recently she's put out a recording that is the third release with Alchemy Sound Project, and that is an ensemble led by 5 composers, and the project was founded by Sumi. She is the recipient of the Composer of the Chamber Music America's New Jazz Works grant. She has been a composer in residence at the Northwest Symphony Orchestra. In 2009, her album Initiation received honorable mention from the Village Voice Jazz Critics Poll. She's also been involved with over a dozen film scores, including Family Gathering. She has taught at Bard College as well as Rutgers University. And without further ado, let me introduce Miss Sumi Tonooka. Good evening, Sumi.
Hey, Bob. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for agreeing to come on. I know you're busy and pulled in a lot of different directions. And again, to have someone as esteemed and accomplished as you are is really humbling for me. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mm-hmm. Great. So you've done so many things over the years. What is it? Over 30 years you've been in the music business, right?
Oh, God. I guess that's right.
Yeah. So how did it start? I was reading, I told you I was doing my research, and I actually had some dealings with Settlement Music School, but that's where you got your start?
Well, it was where I was first trained formally, yes, as a kid. I started off with a music workshop, which is a class that orients a lot of children to the various instruments, so you get introduced to all the instruments that you could possibly, want to know about. And I got really, turned on to the piano in that class and to music in general, which was really a great kind of early, education type of an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Music education, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you eventually worked with some of the greats here in Philly Joe Jones, I noticed, Odine Pope. Talk about how you got started with them and what that meant to you, that involvement then.
Yeah, that's fast forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
From Settlement Music School to Philly Joe Jones.
Well, you can fill in some of the pertinent.
That's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
however you want to do it.
I started playing professionally pretty concert with my trio at Annenberg, was it Annenberg Hall or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I was composing from a pretty early age too. And Philly Joe happened to hear me with my trio and heard his tune that he wanted to play. He had asked me for the music, and then next thing I know, he was calling me to come do a gig and wanted me to bring that tune. It was, and I remember the name of the tune. It was a tune I wrote after a Toni Morrison novel called Sula's Dance, and the tune was called. No, the novel was called Sula, but the tune was called Sula's Dance. Yeah.
I think I tried to read that. I don't, you know how Tony is. I don't know that I made it through the entire piece, but
yeah. And then, so that was my first professional, gig working with as a side person working with a leader such as Philly Joe. So it was quite an initiation into the jazz world.
And you were 16?
No, I was 18. I was 16 when I first played with my own trio, but I was 18 when I was working with Philly. 18, 19, somewhere in there.
Now let me ask you this: when you started with the with your own trio, it was a trio, right?
Yes.
Did you get any pushback from your parents, or were they encouraging you to get out there and try, or how did that work?
Well, my mom was a huge jazz fan, so I mean, partially why I got introduced to the music was because of my parents. My mom loved music in general, but she was a big jazz fan, and so she took me to see a lot of live music as a kid in Philadelphia, and boy, was it a great time to hear so many different, and she was also very eclectic, so I was going to live jazz events, I got to see Pharoah Sanders and Tommy Flanagan and Horace Silver and, so many different people. They had so many different venues in Philly at that time, a lot of college venues and Amaju Mall and Nina Simone and, lots of live music. I was just so fortunate. And then she also took me to the Philadelphia Orchestra. So we would sit all the way up in the, balcony and the last row and get the what they call the peanut gallery, $5 ticket. And we would have those little binoculars, where you could look at through the binoculars and see the stage because you're so far away. But I heard a lot of great music there. I heard the Philadelphia Orchestra a lot when I was a kid, and so and then I also heard a lot of blues, because at that time there was the coffee shop circuit, and a lot of the blues players were coming through and playing at these coffee shops. Type of venues where there was no alcohol being served, so I was able to go and hear a lot of live blues as a kid. There was a whole circuit going on. They brought in everybody. I mean everybody, and that was really something. So I was really fortunate in being able to be exposed to so much great live music, especially jazz, when I was young.
Yeah, there's actually nothing like that.
I heard Thelonious Monk when I was 13 at the Aqua Lounge. I was for my birthday. I was a big Monk fan, and my parents took me to see Thelonious Monk at the Aqua Lounge, which was right, 52nd Street. It was like the Renaissance, sort of the end of the Renaissance, jazz Renaissance on 52nd Street. I caught the tail end of it.
You couldn't have had many friends your age who were down with you. Did you?
No, not really. I mean, I used to have my friends would come to the porch and ask me to come out and play, and I have a friend who remembers that I would always be at my piano, at the piano. And he'd come to the porch and ask me to come outside, and I'd be inside playing the piano. Not that I never played outdoors, because I did, but I definitely was tuned in from a pretty early age.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, I was also looking, you spent some time with Mary Lou Williams.
Yeah, she was one of my teachers.
So what did you...
I was also around the same age, actually.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
I'm a jazz aficionado. I'm not an expert, there's too many, tons of people know a lot more about the art. But and Mary Lou Williams is one that I haven't gotten into too much. So tell me about her uniqueness and her influence on you.
Well, she was a major player, and especially as a woman, not only just a player, she was like a musician. She was a completely natural musician. I mean, virtuoso in terms of what she was able to do with the piano. But she also really lived through all the eras of the music. So she played very authentic, Kansas City style blues and boogie woogie and all the styles, that you would associate with the history of jazz piano. She was played very authentically. And she was also a great writer. She was also very sort of ahead of her time in many ways. She always had like her own sound and a fairly modern sound, even though she had a lot of the tradition in her playing. She wrote and arranged for Louis Armstrong's band and was one of the first women arrangers that really had her material performed, I think, by a lot of the major big bands. And she was a force. She played with and hung out with Thelonious Monk and Dizzy Gillespie and Bud Powell. They would all go to her house, and that's where bebop was really, when the bebop was really being formed. She was part of that whole scene. And they were musician friends of hers that would hang out at her house and play, or her apartment, and play on her piano, and discuss the music. And, so she's a huge part of the history.
And where does she live?
She lives in Harlem.
In Harlem, okay. Yeah.
So when I studied with her, she was, she'd come through a lot of different phases in her life. And there was one stage towards the latter part of her life where she actually stopped playing for a while. She got very, very religious and wanted to just go into the ministry and just do that. And but then she met a pastor who convinced her that her music was part of her spiritual calling, and then she re-embraced her music and got out there and played, using her music as her ministry, thanks to that one pastor, Father, I think his name was John, Father John. I can't remember his last name right now. But I feel very fortunate to have had a direct contact with her in terms of just, at that stage of my life, because now looking back, I realize just how significant it was. I mean, I was a big fan of hers, so I said to my mother, I wish I could study with Mary Lou Williams. And she said, well, why didn't you ask her? And I was like, what do you mean? And she says, look her up in the phone book. Call her up and she'll take you as a student. And I was like, Mary Lou Williams in the phone book? Like, Mary Lou Williams would be in the phone book? And that's what I did. I mean, I guess those days, you had to dial New York, and then the New York operator would look it up, and, so I got her phone number out of the yellow pages or the white pages, and to an operator. And then next thing I know, I'm on my way up to New York City and walking through Central Park in the snow with my mother on my first lesson. And, it was just really, truly very memorable, and very important for me in terms of just what I got from her.
And what would you say was the most important thing you got from her?
Well, it's all kind of multi-level, because she wasn't like she was someone who believed that you needed to just get out and play. That was real. Like, every lesson she would always say, why are you here? Like, you just need to get out and play. You just need to play. You just need to play. But part of what she would do is not talk a lot. She would have me sit next to her on the bench and just be there as she was playing. So I got a chance. It was almost like a musical transference. She didn't talk a lot, and she would. But the things that she did say, I remember, and also just being that, I would say that physically.
Sumi, I have to take. Sumi, excuse me. Let me take a break real quick, and we'll come right